Good afternoon, dear participants, dear colleagues. Welcome to this information session of the CEF Transport Technical Assistance Call, which we have launched on the 12th of September. I'm very pleased to be here and in CINEA together with colleagues from DG Move. And we will spend a couple of hours this afternoon presenting you the call which we launched on 12th of September. Let me introduce myself. I am Lucie Žačková. I am head of unit in CINEA B2, which deals with CEF transport projects in Central and Southeast Europe. And I will introduce the agenda and give you a bit of introductory remarks about the call. And then colleagues from DG Move will present the policy context and the different work packages and topics of the call. And then after the break at 3:30, around 3:30, we will have a detailed presentation of the application process in eGrants and of the evaluation process. This will be done by the colleagues from CINEA. We will also have question and answers at the end. Thank you already for those who submitted their questions in advance via Slido. We have been looking at them and we hope we will be able to answer at least some of you during this afternoon. If not, we will of course provide the replies in writing. The replies can be still submitted until 7th of November. To the functional mailbox. So before we go to the call, just to briefly introduce the transport portfolio we have in CINEA, because a part of the CEF Transport, which is indeed the biggest program we manage, we also have two other programs which deal with transport. It's a Horizon and it's an Innovation Fund. Altogether, we have over 2,000 projects we have currently managing with a budget over 47.5 billion euro. And on the next slide, you can see with the summary of the technical assistance for CEF Transport, which we have launched already in the previous years. We had two calls in 2021 and one call in 2022. Altogether, we have 37 grant agreements being implemented at the moment with the budget almost 51 million euro. And all these grant agreements have end date end of this year, 31st of December 2024. We will have a possibility, or you beneficiaries have a possibility indeed to ask for an extension of the grant agreements regarding technical assistance for member states, but only for the work package 5, which deals with the data synchronization with the TEN-Tech. We will get back to that at the end of the presentation during the Q&A session. And the call we have launched on the 12th of September, as I said, is at the moment open for publication. So what do we have in the current call? We have actually two calls, one under the general envelope and one under the cohesion envelope, with the total budget for both calls 54.5 million euro. Under the general envelope, we have three topics: technical assistance to member states for the European transport coordinators and for the preparation for the coordination of the work on the urban nodes, technical assistance to RailNet Europe, and technical assistance to the European RIS COMEX platform. Here, the budget is 37.9 million euro. And under the cohesion envelope, we have only one topic, which is technical assistance to member states for European transport corridors and urban nodes, with a budget of 16.5 million euro. On the next slide, you can see a bit the reference point, let's say the legal reference point from the financial regulation, which describes what the technical assistance is. So that is support and capacity building actions, which are necessary for the implementation of a program or an action, in particular preparatory management, monitoring, evaluation, audit, and control activities. So this is the, let's say, the overarching legal framework we have for defining the technical assistance activities. On this slide here, first important information which you can see here is the end date, so the deadline for submitting the applications, which is 12th of November of this year, so 2 months following the publication date of the calls. And also here we summarize who can apply. So on the one hand, we have the member states authorities who can apply who can apply in both the general envelope, so those member states which are eligible for the general envelope, and those cohesion member states who are eligible, for the cohesion envelope apply under that envelope. In addition, in the general envelope, we have Ukraine and Republic of Moldova who can also apply. For the RNE, here we expect one application which would be coordinated by the RailNet Europe. So here we have been sending invitation to the infrastructure managers. And under the RIS COMEX, we expect one application to be coordinated by one member state. Here you have an overview of the first topic, which is the technical assistance to member states for European transport corridors and urban nodes. So we have altogether 5 work packages. More details, of course, will be presented by my colleagues during this afternoon. But just to give you an overview that under both general and cohesion envelopes, we have 3 work packages. And under the cohesion envelope, we have 2 additional work packages. As you know, the grant agreements for the member states' technical assistance will be based on the lump sums. We have the Commission decision defining the lump sums, which has been sent to you together with the invitation. And we will also have a link to the decision in the supporting material, which you can find on the website of the call. But basically, just to summarize, in the decision, there are defined lump sums amounts per member state and per work packages, which are based on the estimated workload. That also means we will not be checking actual incurred costs, as you know, let's say from the, classical CEF grant agreements. We will be paying on the basis of the outputs, which are to be delivered at the end of the grant agreements. And here we expect indeed that this should be a simplification for the beneficiaries in terms of the application and also in terms of the reporting requirements. So here I am at the end of my introductory remark, and I would like now to give the floor to Eva, who will give you some policy context to this call. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and many thanks, Lucy, for this presentation. So I'm very happy to be here with you to open this info session on the CEF technical assistance. I don't know if it will be the last info session, but in fact we are approaching I would say, not the end of the CEF program, but we will, in a few time, very short time, have exhausted the budget we have launched in September, so a few weeks ago. The last big call with a budget of 2.5 billion euro for the cohesion countries and for the modernization of the TEN-T network. So here, the amount that have been presented by Lucie, let's say, are more modest, but still we consider this technical assistance as very important to support the good implementation of the TEN-T and the CEF, and in particular to foster cooperation between the national administration. So, as you have explained, Lucie, we are approaching the end of the current technical assistance, 2024, even if there is a possibility to be seen for a prolongation on a case-by-case basis. But this means that it is indeed time, I would say high time, to launch the technical assistance, the call for the technical assistance for the last part of the CEF until the end of the program in 2027. I would say that when looking at this call, we really built on what we have done for the first part of the technical assistance of the CEF. So we remain very much on the principle that we have developed, but with some adaptation. First of all, the technical assistance is based on the work program, and as you know, we have adopted an amended transport work program for the CEF in 2023. So the technical assistance reflect this amended work program. Lucie, you have also explained that we want to build on the same principle, and I would say in terms of simplification for the costing, using as much as possible the lump sum. So we continue as we have done so far, but here again with some updates. The decision was based on element that was set in 2021, and now we have updates based on the latest data from Eurostat, particularly concerning the salaries in the administration and the travel cost. Also, a very important element to keep in mind in the picture. All this is based on a revised TEN-T regulation, which was adopted in July this year. So we have a new transport corridors, urban nodes, a new chapter, a brand new chapter in the TEN-T regulation, and this call will reflect, including with the lump sum, this new provision. So this means that we will have new activities that we will present this afternoon, but again also with a continuity in particular to maintain, to continue to support the activities which started under the previous call. And as you have noticed, the calculation methods and the distribution key are largely consistent with the 2021 decision on the lump sum. So not a revolution all in all. We want to build on a good experience of the first technical assistance that was launched at the beginning of the program. So these were the few words that I wanted to share with you before colleagues go into the details. So I leave you in the good hands of the colleagues here around the table. I would like also to thank CINEA for all the work which was done in the first technical assistance program, and I wish you all the best. You on your screen and here in the room in CINEA for the good implementation of this second part of the technical assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Edi. So I think now we can go to the detailed presentation of the topics and work packages. So I think you can click here. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. My name is Beata Duszyńska. I work for DG Move, Unit B1, which is in charge of implementation of the Trans-European Transport Network. I'm here today with you to present the first work package, which focuses on cooperation with the European transport corridors. And this is the work package that is not new. It has been introduced already under Connecting Europe Facility 1, and also it continues from the first part of the Connecting Europe Facility 2. However, this edition is slightly modified, also taking into account the modifications that have been introduced by the new TEN-T regulation, which has already been mentioned by Eddie, that we have adopted earlier this year in July 2024. This regulation brought important modifications compared to the previous legislative basis, and in particular, it has modified the European transport corridors. First of all, the previous TEN-T core network corridors have been geographically merged with former rail freight corridors to form European transport corridors. And in this process, some of the routing of the corridors have changed, while also two new corridors, notably Western Balkans and East Mediterranean corridor, and the Baltic Sea, Black Sea, Aegean Sea corridor have been created. Additional modification that has been also introduced by our TEN-T regulation is that for the first time, the European transport corridors cover third neighboring countries. Specifically, our Western Balkan, European Mediterranean corridor runs through the Western Balkan countries, and 4 European transport corridors have been extended to the territory of Ukraine and Moldova. And this is also the reason why under this work package, it is possible to include support, technical support and financial support to Ukraine and the Republic of Moldova, who have been associated to Connecting Europe facility since 2023. So what are the objectives? We have the same objectives. This work package is basically present for both cohesion countries and in general envelope. However, as it was already mentioned by Lucy, under a general envelope, we would like to ensure efficient cooperation with European coordinators, with inclusion also of the Ukraine and Republic of Moldova. Within this work package, we foresee support for 4 individual activities. First one is related to participation of representatives of member states in the meetings organized and chaired by the European coordinator, be it corridor forum meetings or its related working groups. Or corridor-related conferences, such as, for instance, Connecting Europe Days. This activity is addressing activities conducted by member states, Ukraine, and Republic of Moldova. Second group of activities that we would like to cover under this work package is the involvement of member states as well as Ukraine and Moldova in consultations of the new generation of work plans for corridors and horizontal priorities. Horizontal priorities meaning ERTMS and European Maritime Space. And in the case of member states, the work plans also have to be approved. So there is also, this is an additional activity that we will be supporting by this technical assistance. Moreover, we foresee support for involvement of member states in consultations and approval of corridor and horizontal priority implementing acts. Third priority involves activities of member states and their engagement in consultations and preparations of implementing acts that refer to the good navigation status of inland waterways that form part of the TEN-T network. And fourth, the last activity refers to cooperation of the member states with other national stakeholders or with other member states or with European Transport Coordinator in order to provide all the necessary information and to ensure coherent implementation of the corridors in a timely manner. This last activity is also open to Ukraine and Republic Moldova on top of the support to member states. As I have mentioned, this is the budget that we foresee for this work package. So it's exceeding 7.5 million euro for a period of 3 years. And you will see that the breakdown of lump sums per member states might have also been changed compared to the previous schemes under Connecting Europe facility. But these modifications result from changes of the routing of the corridors and the change of the number of corridors that cross individual member states. But also we here present also the lump sums available for the Ukraine and the Republic of Moldova. This is all from my side, so thank you very much, and I give the floor to other colleagues. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert Switch. I work in DG Move as well in the unit B3 in charge of urban mobility. So I will talk about work package 2 today afternoon about the support to urban nodes. And yes, I would like to start very briefly with because this is a new topic in this sense from the lump sum tool compared to the previous one at the beginning of the MFF, just to give you a very briefly a highlight what is new in the TEN-T regulation adopted just recently in July as regards urban nodes. So the network of urban nodes have been extended radically from around 80 to more than 400 with very specific requirements to comply. In the TA call today, we will focus on the first 2 milestones relating to the sustainable urban mobility planning and the urban mobility data collection requirements. So that's our focus to give funding, to give additional resources to member states to satisfy them and prepare successfully for these 2027 deadlines. Very quickly to highlight what is in the TEN-T, I think it deserves to be mentioned very briefly today. That what are we talking about? That we technically ask every member state to make sure that the urban nodes in their country have adopted successfully a sustainable urban mobility plan by end of 2027, and member states will have to ensure that specific urban mobility data on sustainability, safety, and accessibility is collected and reported to the Commission as well by the same deadline. We have also made a requirement in the new TEN-T regulation that a new coordinating body, a national sum contact point, will have to be designated to oversee these processes, and these bodies will have to put in place, establish a national sum support program in line with the rules of subsidiarity, obviously, that urban mobility competencies are primarily dealt with by local regional authorities, and the member states will have to ensure that these are coordinated and aligned overall within the member state to have satisfactory compliance and with the content and with the deadlines of the timeliness of these requirements. The activities within the call itself focus on 2 clusters. So the first cluster will cover activities, tasks related to the sustainable urban mobility planning. I outlined very quickly the major activities that we foresee as potential areas that could be supported through this measure. First and foremost, we would like to support that member states have the resources to adopt a national sum support program. So to do the necessary measures and consultations to identify the specific supporting measures the urban nodes would require, to designate a team who is in charge, and identify the location of this body within the architecture, the governance setup of the member state concerned. We also foresee building a national network So to establish a national network of urban nodes to allow sharing good practices, good examples, identify common issues, common challenges, and raise issues to make sure that everybody has a same understanding, a similar understanding within the member state, and the urban nodes themselves are aware of the choices and the approaches available to them. We also foresee support to develop national SOM guidelines. We have our European guidelines on the process, on how to prepare urban mobility plans. We have also in Annex 5 guidelines to member states about the content as regards the TEN-T. So the TEN-T policy, what does it mean, an SUMP, an urban mobility plan from a TEN-T perspective. And we envisage a support that member states will specify what does this requirement, this European policy requirement mean in their specific legal and administrative setup. We have different legislative systems across the EU, so this gives a flexibility to the member states to define what would an SUMP mean as regards the TEN-T requirement in their specific member state. Lastly, we will also enter into the activities related to the sustainable urban mobility plans. So we would envisage tasks for these national SOM contact points to screen and identify areas of the individual urban nodes mobility plans. But if they need fine-tuning, corrections, additional work to align with the TEN-T requirements and identify the next steps that need to be carried out, and finally to actually implement these activities, to actually give targeted support to member states through expert advice on how to address these findings. As regards cluster 2, okay, this is the budget. I think the slides will be available, so I will not want to spend too much time on this. So this is the amounts available to each member state. Ukraine and Moldova, so this is only the 27 member states that are eligible for this support. We don't foresee funding to other countries than the EU member states for this specific work program. The work package for the cluster 2 or B, this is the urban mobility indicators. Here we have two major tasks that will fall under the work plan. First of all, analysis of data availability. So the member states will have, the national SOM contact points will have resources available to them to carry out the gap analysis of data availability, so to judge what type of data are available for each of the urban nodes and what needs to be done to actually get these data available and readily generated and collected for all of the urban nodes, including identifying data sources, data ownership. It can be anybody from local to regional authorities, different ministries, and so on. And second, major task, major step here is to actually implement a data generation plan to carry out the necessary surveys and data collection activities to be ready for submitting these information to the Commission by end of 2027. The bulk of the resources on this work package actually go towards the indicators, understanding the actual needs and the actual work this entails. So this is also reflected in the budget. More than 7 million euros is allocated or estimated for these tasks, with the distribution per member states accordingly. And I pass the floor to my colleague.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Reinhard Haller. I work in DG Move's Single European Rail Area unit, responsible for the market aspects of EU rail legislation. So I'll talk you through the technical assistance support in cooperation with the rail freight corridors. Unlike the work package that was presented by my colleague before, it's the continuation of an existing work package. I'll be rather brief. First things first, what are the objectives of this technical assistance? First of all, in terms of substance, it's all about rail capacity and traffic management. And obviously, as the technical assistance supports member states, it's about coordinating the contribution of member state authorities on these subjects. Secondly, in the context of the new TEN-T regulation, there's an important emphasis on coordination with TEN-T policy. The new TEN-T regulation that entered into force this July requires a more stringent and close cooperation between the governance structures that are responsible for TEN-T on the one hand and for rail capacity and traffic management on the other hand. Currently, rail capacity and traffic management is mainly governed by the structures of the so-called rail freight corridors. Obviously, it's also about cross-border coordination. And finally, the whole technical system is meant to support the implementation of rail legislation in this area, which, as some of you may know, is also dynamic, with the Commission having proposed a regulation on the use of rail infrastructure capacity in the single European rail area recently. The activities covered by this technical assistance can be grouped into two priorities. The first priority is all about coordination between member states. You will find in the lump sum decision the individual activities that are covered. I'll just briefly summarize here. One activity concerns coordination at corridor level. We've heard from Beata before on the new 9 European transport corridors. The second activity concerns coordination between corridors. As I said before, it's about a single European rail area, and there it is, of course, important to be consistent between the corridors. And finally, member states are required to support implementation reports under Regulation 913 of 2010, and this is the final coordination activity that concerns cross-border coordination. And then the second priority under this technical assistance concerns coordination within member states. So member states participate in the governance structure of the rail freight corridors. And in addition to coordinating with their fellow member states, there's also a task to coordinate with stakeholders at national level in order to make sure that the national contributions are well coordinated and reflect the positions of all stakeholders in a given member state. These are the activities. Here you can see the breakdown of the total budget of approximately 2 million euros for this work package. Again, I think no use in reading out the numbers. You will find them in the presentation and they're in the lump sum decision in any case. So with this, thanks a lot for your attention. And I hand over to my next colleague who will present your work package 4.
So back to me, I will present you the last 2 work packages for the Member State Technical Assistance, Cohesion Envelope. Work package 4 relates to the communication, appraisal of CEF projects, proposals and technical monitoring. So what it implies in more details and what are the objectives. The objective of this work package is to support member states in effective communication of the CEF program, to provide resources for the appraisal of the CEF project proposals and for the monitoring of the selected projects under CEF 2. In more details, we foresee to support 3 activities. First of all, it's a communication, so support to, support to the organization of the national info days, to support the publication of the newsletters or social media posts in the national languages, also websites, updates, and similar activities. The second activity relates to the appraisal of the CEF project proposals. So here we talk about the CEF 2 project proposals, which are still to be submitted. Because as you know, all the submitted applications should receive support from the national authorities, from the member state concerned. So this relates to this type of assessment to ensure compliance with the, let's say, national priorities, national requirements, but also with the call requirements. And the third activity relates to the monitoring of the ongoing CEF2 actions, mainly as regards the assistance to monitor the technical implementation of the projects in order to maximize and ensure absorption of the national envelopes, of the national allocations under the CEF. On this slide here, you can see the budget per work package 4, which is over 8.4 million euro with the individual national allocations. And then as regards work package 5, this relates to the legacy management for the technical and financial monitoring of the projects selected under the CEF1, so CEF 1420. And in more details, we support 2 activities. First of all, it's a technical monitoring of the projects under the 1420 portfolio, which are still to be closed. So projects which are, let's say, end of this year, because this is the final date of eligibility of the CEF1 grant agreements, which are still ongoing. And here, of course, there will be work to be done in terms of preparing the final payments, to also prepare the financial controls of the actions in the sense of certifying the expenditures of the projects, and to ensure that the disbursement has been done in conformity with the rules. The second activity relates to the communication, but this should not be mixed with the communication we have under work package 4. What we talk about here is about promoting the results or success stories of the projects which were indeed funded under the CEF 1420. So this is linked to the 1420 CEF projects and more horizontal communication activities. On the next slide, you can see the budget for work package 5, which is slightly over 2 million euro. And again, the amounts are also in the lump sum decision, so you can refer back to that for the countries you are interested in. And with this, we have finished the presentation of topic 1, technical assistance for member states and Ukraine and Moldova. And I would now pass the floor to my colleagues for the presentation of topic 2.
Yes, good afternoon again. So it's my pleasure to now also outline topic 2 of this technical assistance. It's directed towards RailNet Europe and rail infrastructure managers. Again, concerns the issue of rail capacity management, capacity allocation, operational tasks like traffic disruption and crisis management, and the issue of performance review. The budget of this topic is 16.5 million euros overall, and it is structured into 9 work packages in terms of the eligible activities. Objectives of this technical assistance are twofold. First of all, it is about common issues, common developments at European level that comprises rules, processes, IT requirements, and applications at European level, which should be designed, tested, and implemented. And secondly, the objective is to support practical coordination and cooperation between infrastructure managers on the one hand, and the regular close involvement of all rail stakeholders involving rail customers on the other hand. So within these 2 overall objectives, as mentioned before, there are 9 work packages that comprise the specific tasks that are eligible under this technical assistance. I very briefly outline the work packages here. Actually, in the call text, there's a very detailed description of each of these work packages with very concrete tasks. So I think the eligible activities should be rather clear on this basis, but just for the sake of completeness. So work package 1 is basically to continue ongoing coordination and cooperation between R&E and rail infrastructure managers with basically the rest of the rail sector and its customers. Work package 2 concerns transport market monitoring and specifically a European transport market study that should provide important inputs for rail infrastructure managers, management of rail capacity. Work package 3 concerns new approaches for rail capacity management and rail capacity allocation that takes into account the sector's work in the so-called TTR initiative, and also obviously the Commission's proposal for a regulation on the use of rail infrastructure capacity. Work package 4 then turns to the digital side of things. It is about telematics applications supporting capacity management. So digital capacity management briefly said. Work package number 5 is similar to work package 4, just the focus is different. This is about digital traffic management, so the operational processes. Work package 6 is on performance monitoring and performance management, so improving quality and the performance of rail infrastructure services and rail transport services. Work package 7 concerns the provision of information on rail infrastructure and rail transport services, both in what we call human readable forms, basically documents, reports, and so on, and machine readable formats, IT interfaces for machine-to-machine communication. Work package 8 addresses a specific Commission initiative which aims to boost the supply of cross-border long-distance passenger services in the context of the Commission's action plan, a continuation of an existing activity, but it should be put in a broader context. And finally, there's work package 9, which concern new ways for infrastructure managers to coordinate between each other and to engage with other rail stakeholders and customers of rail services. So this is all about designing structures, procedures, tools that support coordination between infrastructure managers, particularly across borders. And in a way, this can be conceived as paving the ground to define structures that will replace the rail freight corridors in the future once the regulation on capacity management enters into force. As I mentioned before, specific tasks are set out in quite a level of detail in the call text, so please refer to this for any follow-up questions. And I think this was the last slide, which takes us over to topic number 3, which a colleague of mine will present. Please.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marta Wolska. I'm working in DG Move in the unit of ports and inland navigation, and I would like to briefly present you the topic 3. This is technical assistance to the European RIS COMEX platform. RIS COMEX platform, we are talking about inland navigation here because maybe it's not clear to everybody what this topic is about. Oh, sorry. This one. So here you have the specific, information about the call. What is important for this topic is that we expect the coordinated application only by one member state, but it should be coordinated between relevant member states. The budget for this topic is €2 million. And maybe kind of, background for this topic, this technical assistance is a complementary task to the already ongoing COMEX 2 project, which is financed from CEF, and it started in 2023. This is the multi-beneficiary project involving 20 partners from 13 European countries, as well as 3 cooperating partners from Switzerland, Serbia, and Ukraine. This is the project aiming further harmonization and optimization of river information services in Europe, and acting as a successor of the project, also funded from CEF RIS COMEX. And the success of COMEX was the creation of the European RIS platform, so-called EU RIS, which provides all necessary information and data in relation to inland navigation and supporting the traffic management. Why I am mentioning, this information? This is because just to show why it is important, to have this coordinated approach. So coordinate member states and provide one proposal. What is also important that in line with the ongoing revision of the River Information Services Directive, the Commission has proposed, let's say, to legalize the RIS platform. That is why it is necessary to legalize and take out this output from the project and put it, let's say, at the higher level. It's necessary, to support member states with this technical assistance. So this is more or less what is called in the priorities. So this is the technical assistance to the RIS COMEX platform to help them, to set up the new to legalize them. What are the objectives of this call? It's to support this transition into permanent operation of the digital RIS platform, this EU RIS, to keep the EU RIS platform operational, to ensure that the service and support to the EU RIS are in place. And the specific objective is to ensure that all parties and external partners can use the EU RIS platform to its full extent. In terms of activities, we have very detailed activities as well, and the task explained, in the call. So I think that it doesn't make sense, really to repeat what you can already, read in the call. So the best would be just to refer to and to look into details there. So on my side, I think that is all. And
so good afternoon, everyone. Let's continue with this information session. We will now present the application process in eGrants. I'm Eleni Chronopoulou. I'm an evaluation advisor working for the evaluation team in Department B of the agency, CINEA. On the 12th of September, you received invitation letters, and in these invitation letters, there is a submission link. You can click on the submission link in order to start creating your application, and you can also find the submission links on the call page that we have created on the website. So there are 4 separate submission links, one for each topic. In order to create your proposal, the first step is to introduce your organization identification code. It's the PIC that you can see on this slide. And when you do, normally you're already registered in the system, so your name, the name of the organization will automatically appear, and you can create your proposal by putting an acronym of your proposal and a short summary of your project proposal. On this slide, you can find the acronyms examples of acronyms that we recommend you to use, and so that we can have more or less same structure of the proposals when we receive them. And you would put the year first, 24, then the country code, the envelope, so general envelope or cohesion envelope, the topic, member states, RailNet Europe, RIS COMEX, the 3 topics, and technical assistance, which you can use an abbreviation for this. So once you create your proposal, you will have to complete 2 parts, Part A and Part B. This is the page that you land, and on this page you will have to click on Edit Forms in order to start filling Part A. In Part A, there is a table of content. So there is general information, participants, budget, and other questions. Under general information, you introduce the proposal title, the duration. You can also introduce some keywords and an abstract. In the same form, there are also some declarations that you have to tick in order for this form to be completed. Under participants, there is information on your legal entity, if it's a public entity, in general, in this call, under the member states, it will be public entities, and you can also introduce information on the department that will be implementing the proposal project. The budget, here we would really recommend you to put the full amount. My colleague will later present you the calculator with all the work packages that will lead to a final amount, and we recommend you to put here the final grant amount that will be requested. This is a budget table concerning the topic of member states, because it's a lump sum budget, and for topic 2 and 3, this budget table is different. Then there is also, under the table of contents of Part A, a section called Other Questions. It comes from a general Connecting Europe Facility program template. So please disregard the last part. It is blank anyway, so there is no scroll down menu, and you can put no in twin proposals and also in the synergies with other CEF sectors, and no also to the other section. However, you can add the member states in which the project will be implemented. With this, you finish with Part A, and you can go back to Part B. Part B involves downloading several documents. On the left of this screen, you can see them. Some of them are mandatory. So actually, the most important one is Part B. Here is an overview of the downloaded documents when you will press on the downloading tab. The first is the one that will take you most of the time, because it's the narrative and the technical description of your proposal. The second annex is the calculator that will be presented by my colleague. This again concerns the member states. For RailNet Europe and RIS COMEX, you will have here a budget table that will be different and will correspond to actual cost grants. Then a letter of support. This is not a mandatory document for most of the topics. It's only for topic 3. I have a slide on this, and a Gantt chart. So out of these, for the member states, the application Part B, the calculator and the Gantt chart are actually the mandatory documents. So here is an overview also for topic 2 and 3 of the documents that are required to upload in Part B. And before I finish, on the funding and tenders portal, although you cannot find the calls because these calls are identified beneficiary calls and they are directly sent to you. They are calls by invitation. You can still find on the portal, the funding and tenders portal, guidance and important documents. You can find legislation. Here is the overview of several sections that you can find. And for example, you can also find the model grant agreements. And under these calls, there are two models to use. The lump sum model that you can find here, and not the actual cost grant, which you can also find under the guidance and documents. And of course, you can also use the help desk for any IT issue you encounter on the funding and tenders portal. There are FAQs, which are linked more to the process. And for questions and answers on these calls, content questions, you can always use the functional mailbox. And as it was already mentioned in the beginning of this session, we are going to address some of the questions that you have already asked on Slido, and we are going to follow up with the questions that might not be addressed during this info session later. Thank you very much. And I pass the floor to my colleague who will present the calculator.
Thank you, Eleni. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Theodoros Margaritis, and I work at CINEA in Unit B2, and I'm the panel coordinator for the technical assistance for member states. So it will be a short presentation on the use of the calculator, which will calculate the amount that you need to put in your application, which is an Excel file. So this is a simple illustration on the use of the relevant data, which comes from the lump sum decision and which needs to be inserted in the lump sum calculator in order to calculate your respective amount. This is maybe the most important slide of my presentation. So where to find in the lump sum decision the data to be used for the calculation of the lump sum. So for each work package, there are dedicated tables, and you can see for work package 1, it's table number 18 on page 48. For work package 2, table 19 on 2 pages, page 51 and 52 for cluster A, and table 20 on page 54. Work package 3 is table 22 only on page 58. And for work package 4, there are several tables on page 59, 60, 61, 62, and 63. And the last work package 5, there are 2 tables on page 64 and 65. So this is how the calculator looks like. It's you can see on the top the member state you need to insert and the name of the beneficiary, and also take note that there is an instruction tab which explains how to use it. And here you need to particularly pay attention that work package 2 for related to urban nodes has a contribution for the whole period and not at annual basis. So, very important, you need only to use the white cells. Please do not modify the blue cells. There are formulas included in some of them, so only the white fields need to be used and inserted. So let's take the first example. Let's go to Belgium. This is the first member state on table 18 in this for work package 1. You can see all the member states here, both from from the general and the cohesion envelope. Both are eligible for this work package. Here you need to particularly pay attention that the amount to put in cell B10, you can see it there, it's a sum of two amounts. You can see in the fourth and the fifth column of the table activity A, which corresponds to task A. So don't confuse activity and task. It's a synonym, so it's the same thing. That's why I highlighted it in red, in the red circle. So here you need to put the sum of both amounts, so equal the amount plus the other amount. This is the most tricky part actually here for the use of the calculator. Now I'm showing you the lump sum per year, because for this work package the amount per year is equal for each year, because in some other cases the amounts are different. So here we calculate the contribution per year, and then you can follow up and use the same amounts for each year, 26 and 27. You can see again that task 1A, task 1B, etc. corresponds to the word activity, and as highlighted above. And here is the final amount for Belgium. So here I completed the entire set of data for work package 1. You can see the amounts are identical for each year. And you can see on the yellow highlighted part on the right side that the total amount, which is the same amount on the table on the right, in the last column on the right. So then we can go, we still are in Belgium, so it's easy. It's the first member state on the list. So we go to work package 2, which is related to the urban nodes. Here we have two tables, table 19 and table 20. Table 19 has the tasks A, B, C, D, E. So these 5 tasks are under this table only. So you need to use this table only for the first 5 lines for the calculator. I inserted them there so you can see the amounts, and you can see in cell D14 that there is in green color the sum which corresponds to the amount of the entire period 25-27 on the last column of the table 19. Then we continue to the other table of work package 2, which has only 2 tasks, so tasks F and G, so they are on the bottom of the lump sum calculator there. I inserted them, and you can see the sum on the bottom on the right side is the sum which comes on the right column of for the entire period for Belgium. So let's move to work package 3. There is only one table. It's table 22 on page 58. You can see that, again, the word activity equals to the word task. So here, again, we have the same issue with work package 1. So we need to use for task 3A, 3 corresponding to work package 3, A for activity A, the 2 amounts of work and travel in order to get your amount for year 2025. Again, here the amounts are the same. So for each year, we have the same amount. So let's move on. You can see here the same applies for task B. So again, we need to add up 2 values. In this case, 5,700 plus 504. And you can see it on the right side, the amount summed up. So here, this is the final amount for Belgium for work package 3. I included all the respective amounts. You can see they are equal again for each year. It's the same amounts, and you can see in green color the total amount for Belgium for work package 3, and also the respective amounts per year in blue color. You can see them there, so they correspond. And again, also that task A, B, C, D are all in the table on the left side as activity A, B, C, D. Now we are going only for the cohesion envelope, the countries that are eligible only for the cohesion envelope. I took the example of Bulgaria, which is again first in the list. This work package has several tables. The most tricky part here is the first task, the first line on the lump sum calculator. So task 4A, for work package 4A, for the activity, in this case subactivity A, because there are two tables in this case. Here you need to add two amounts from two different tables. So here we have the first table 24 and the second table 25. I highlighted the two amounts, 5,120 and 8,544. You need to add them up in order to insert them in the correct cell on the right side. Then we can continue. Then simple. There's only one table per cell, so there is nothing too difficult to say. You can see again that task 4B equals to subactivity 4B, etc. So then we go to the next one. And here the particular part for work package 4, for instance, with the difference with the other work packages, is that the amounts per year are different. You can see that. So you need for each year to use the correct, again, the same the respective cell in the table. And we can go to work package 5, the last one. Here we have a simple amount. Again, here the amounts are different because this is related to the legacy program from CEF 1. So this will be phasing out. The amounts are only here for the final reporting, which will be done during 2025 and also in 2026 during the assessment of the respective projects. The amount is simply inserted. You can see it's very simple. And here the same applies for the second line for task 5B communication. So again, the amount is there. You can see the amounts are different, of course. And well, that's it. I think there's nothing more to say. I pass the floor to my colleague for the next. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Theodoros. It's a very useful presentation, the calculator. We know that applicants might face some difficulties in using it. So this, I would say, is a kind of a presentation that it can guide the applicant to go through how to use it, what amounts to put in that should reflect the lump sum decision. So thank you very, very much. We will anyway post this presentation on the call page of CINEA so that you can go step by step. I'm sure that you will be using it later on. I would now introduce you the evaluation timeline. This is the process where we start immediately after the call closure. So the call stipulates, the call document, that we will close on 12 November 2024 in a matter of 1 month and a week. And then immediately after, we start with the checks on the admissibility and eligibility. We don't expect surprises because in the current calls, those are invitation by identified beneficiaries. So normally they should go fine and rather quickly, that it would not be that some of the applicants are excluded from this process. Then late November, we will start the evaluation. It would last November, December. It's a process that will be conducted by internal experts of the agency and the Commission. And I will inform you about the award criteria in the next slides. In January, we are having the plan to inform you, to inform the applicants about the results. And at that moment, you would be invited to prepare the grant agreements with the respective project officer at CINEA. That would be, we estimate a process between February and April to be able that the grant agreements would be in place and signed by April, so that you can already estimate this, but be reminded that the eligibility can start as from January 2025. On the award criteria, we will have the classical 5 criteria. It's the same as in the classical CEF Transport calls. We have a scale between 0 and 5 for each of them with a passing mark of 3, and overall it would lead us to 25 points. We don't expect surprises overall in this evaluation because already the lump sum decision, the call document is very clear about the work packages, the task, and what is required from you. So it's very, I would say, straightforward to produce and to elaborate your proposals. What we will be looking under priority and urgency, it would be mainly the relevance of your proposal, if it contributes to achieving the objectives as are defined in the work program, the multi-annual work program for CEF Transport, that is in line with Article 9.1 of the CEF regulation, in which it states that the main objective is to accompany the identified beneficiaries through technical assistance, through support to the activities that are defined in the call document. So we will be checking the correspondence as well of your project with what is stated in the call document and the specific objectives of each topic and the work program and the work package. Why I'm saying so? Because later on you would see already that we have been asked questions that don't fit the topic scope, and therefore it's not necessary that you actually put them forward because they are not to be funded by us. We will check again whether overall the proposal is aligned with the sectorial policy objectives of the topic under inland waterways, for instance, for the RIS COMEX platform, or rail freight developments under the other topic 3. When applicable, we will check thoroughly on the lump sum decision so that it corresponds well your definition of the work package, notably for topic 1, that is aligned with those. Maturity, it's about checking that the proposal will commence at the time that you are stating in the proposal, in line with the call document. So the eligibility starts as the period starts on the 1st of January 2025 and will last until the end of 28. Sorry. And then we will check also that we don't have overlapping activities that are already covered by the ongoing technical assistance activities or any other CEF transport project, like the case for River Information System platform, that there is another CEF program, so that we ensure that there is no overlaps in terms of activities. The quality will look at the completeness of the application and the proposed activities as defined in the topic of the call document and the lump sum decision whenever it's applicable for the topic. The correspondence, again, of the activities of the application with the work package and their associated task as described in the call document and the lump sum decision. We will also check through this calculator whether the lump sum amounts are correct and aligned with the decision. The impact will overall look at the contribution of the proposal to the economic, social, and environmental climate impact. It would be an overall assessment on this. We will check, we will just look at whether the technical assistance proposal contributes to digitalization, which is the case for river information system as an example, whether it enhances safety overall and interoperability, like the case for the rail topic, and whether it has any effects and contribution to the network territorial accessibility. But this would be an overall assessment. And to last, the catalytic effect. You would need to elaborate on the added value of the EU grant, the technical assistance for the project implementation, meaning for your activities, and whether it reinforces the commitment of different partners and stakeholders to really go through the work packages. If there is any financial leverage that the fact that we are supporting you through this technical assistance, don't hesitate to put it on the application. It will always help you to gain some scores. We will now move to the next session, which is the questions and answers. We will actually have been receiving questions on a Slido. We let it open until this morning at 9. Whenever you have further questions during the event, please send to us via the call functional mailbox. That is, I will show you a bit later. But for now, we were able to reply a number of questions that were posted. Some others will require that we will publish it a bit later. And I will show you where it would be, the document will be posted on the CINEA call page. I have the pleasure of having the company of Robert from DG Move. Robert, I will start with the first question. And it concerns, under topic 1, the technical assistance to member states and the associated countries, under the work package 1, cooperation with ETCS. Does the technical assistance cover an activity for the assessment of the migration plan to the European gauge according to the TEN-T regulation, the new TEN-T regulation that has a requirement?
So very briefly, no. The migration plan to European rail gauge is not part of any activities of the current year course. It is not included in the work package 1. And it is not part of the direct cooperation with the corridors either. It rather stems from the TEN-T regulation, Article 17 overall. And
indeed,
for the second question, so Isabel, on the topic 1, TA to member states, should deliverables be included or not within this cooperation with ETCS?
Let me remind about the requirement that is in the lump sum decision that says that the conditions triggering the payment will be based on the outputs corresponding to each work package. This is on page 6 of the Commission lump sum decision. And what it means is that the final report is the document for assessing the technical completion of the outputs under each work package. Outputs should be described and listed in this final report in line with the page 6. And then we will have a single deliverable, what we call under the grant agreement, that will be the final report that will be used for in the framework of processing the final payment request, what we now technically call final REPA. A question for you, that you are the specialist on urban nodes. Under topic 1, we have, and we learned that we have the work package 2 on support to urban nodes. My urban nodes, like a city municipality administration submit a separate proposal under Work Package 2, or only member states, stricto sensu, ministries, might submit proposal for Work Package 2. In other words, if only a member state might submit a proposal for Work Package 2, my urban nodes participate in somewhere in the proposal, and which role will it be taking? Robert.
This is a very good question indeed, and quite pertinent. So happy to receive this from the applicants and potential applicants. Strictly speaking, we have foreseen only member states to submit a proposal under this work package, because we have, first of all, more than 400 urban nodes themselves. So this would lead to a really wide range of potential applications and beneficiaries. We have limited resources, and the main idea of this work package is to ensure coordination and alignment. So we would like to foresee, in line with the provisions of Article 41 of the TEN-T regulation, to reinforce the newly designated national contact points by the member states to assume and develop their capacities to implement the provisions requiring them to put in place a support program, to work with the urban nodes themselves, all of them in every member state, to make sure that their urban mobility plans are adopted in time with sufficient quality, responding to the demands and elements included in the Annex 5 of the TEN-T, and also they have access to expert support, in-house, external. We also allow outsourcing to a certain degree of the lump sum amounts to actually work with the urban nodes themselves, who would be beneficiaries of this support activity that is channeled through Work Package 2.
Thank you. Very extensive. And thank you very, very much for giving this such a detailed reply that would be very useful also to frame well also the expectations under the Work Package 2. The next question is for you, Robert. Under Topic 1, Technical Assistance to Member States, and the Work Package 3, the cooperation within rail freight corridors, how can we prevent that Article 22 reports have different planning in different rail freight corridors, as there are member states that cooperate in more than one rail freight corridor, so reporting dates sometimes don't really match?
Indeed. So the technical assistance, as set out in the lump sum decision, has an explicit activity for 3B requiring member states to coordinate between the different corridors, exactly because of these potential misalignments and different deadlines. And through this coordination, we would like to ensure that, among other things, the reports that are to be prepared are consistent with each other, both in terms of content, procedures, timing, and so on. And the final report should include normally the reporting of the outputs from the earlier grant, from the grant agreement period until the end of this MFF. So this coordination should allow that the different perspectives are taken on board as well. So we would like member states to talk and cooperate.
Correct.
Indeed, and we go ahead. So Isabel, will interim payments be foreseen? Besides the pre-financing, is it expected that only the balance of the payment at the final report will be covered?
Indeed, there would not be interim payments under the TA grant agreements. This is well stipulated in the call documents. Only a pre-financing will be given within the 30 days from entry into force, and a final payment of the balance will be done upon completion of the grant. Normally, it is foreseen that there would be a 50% pre-financing for the technical assistance to member states and associated countries under the Topic 1 of both calls, TANGENEA and TACONEA. And for the other topics, the pre-financing will vary between 25 to 50%. For the next question.
Indeed. So we had a question on, please clarify what is intended with in case of a significant changes to the circumstances, you may be asked to reduce the grant awarded. Can we have an example on this, please?
Actually, this is a standard condition that is in all call documents for CEF. it's intended to safeguard the community budget. So the agency reserves the right to ask beneficiaries to request an amendment to reduce the grant amount when it deemed necessary. It applies to circumstances that have an impact on the project budget during the implementation of the project. For instance, this provision can be used when it's obvious to the agency that the technical scope of the project will not be implemented within the project duration in the grant agreement. And in agreement with the beneficiary, they agree to reduce the project budget for potentially use of other future needs of the CEF.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, we are to the last question
Correct.
Today.
Yes.
That at least what we have received. So is it possible to extend the current technical assistance grants of the member states beyond end of 2024 due to work package 5 related to the automated data exchange with the TENTEC?
Indeed, only for that work package, TENTEC can be extended for an additional 1 year. Requests for extensions must be submitted ASAP, meaning as soon as possible, in order to allow the signature of the amendments before the end of the grant agreements that will end by December this year. The reporting on the other work package must be submitted as currently foreseen, and there should not be any overlap with the current 2024 technical assistance grant agreements that will be put forward beginning of next year, following these calls. So just to conclude, if you have more questions, we will invite you first to look at the CINEA call page. We have created one in which you will find all the documents that are actually being published for you, for being easy and available whenever you need it. So under documents and templates, we will also include a document on the question and answers that we will be receiving from you, including those that we did not reply yet and those that are in this presentation. Whenever you have questions related to the IT functionality, please use the IT help desk. They are there to help you, to guide you, and there is a form in which you fill in, and they would actually follow any IT bugs, constraints that you might face. It's rather unusual, but because we advise you always, please don't wait until the last day to submit, because that might be tricky. And if you submit after 5, it might not be admissible. So please do all your efforts to do it ahead of the call deadline. Non-IT, so mainly call-related questions that you cannot find an answer, you are also welcome to send it to the functional mailbox. Many of you are familiar by this, and there we will reply as necessary. We are now ending the info session. We have been together since 2. You have been listening to us on the presentation of all the topics, including the work packages. And by now, we have been finishing. I would invite you to provide feedback on the event if you have a moment. And I would say we thank you very, very much. I think all DG Move, also CINEA colleagues, those that you don't see that have been behind all these presentations. And with that, I would say have a good afternoon, and we wish you a lot of good luck for preparing the applications.